my man. And Clint gets his card started with a game that has yet to be discussed here. And that happens, let me pull this up, as the first game on Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern, NFC wild card. Philadelphia Eagles 9-8, 6-3 on the road at Tampa Bay Buccaneers 13-4, 7-1 at home. We're at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. 72 Fahrenheit, wind and rain. The wind at kickoff, 22 miles per hour is what is expected. Let's move this over here. Let's take a look at what we're dealing with from a market. We have the Buccaneers opening up at -8.5. A couple books have moved it to 9.5. A couple. Now, the -9.5 for Tampa Bay Pinnacles plus 106. At Sports Interaction, it's -101. This total has dropped too. Weather, everyone figuring out what the weather's going to be like. The total's gone from 49 down to 47. Then we have 14,475 tickets in, 63% of the tickets, 58% of the cash on the Bucks. So some sharp action is coming in on the Eagles. Then we have 46% of the tickets on the over, 99% of cash on the over. The Eagles had their 4-game winning streak snapped in a meaningless 51-26 loss at home to the Cowboys. They allowed 20-plus points for the first time in 6 games. They rested Jalen Hurts, other key starters. Hurts, 3,144 passing yards, 784 yards rushing. Got the night off. So did Lane Johnson, their tackle, and cornerback Darius Slay. Now, there was 11 more players on the reserve COVID-19 list. Boston Scott, Jordan Howard, all missed that defeat as well. Now, they're all back. They're all good to go. All those guys who were on the COVID list. Jalen Hurts, one of 2 quarterbacks in NFL history with 750-plus rush yards and 10-plus rush TDs in the season. He joins Kyler Murray. Devonta Smith broke Deshaun Jackson's record for most receiving yards by a rookie in team history with 916. With 149 rushing yards, Philadelphia finished the season with a franchise record 2,714 rush yards. They have 30-plus rush attempts and 100-plus rush yards in 11 straight games for the first time since 1949-50. Will the Eagles be able to run against the Bucs' third-ranked run defense? Philadelphia 0-7 this season versus teams currently above 500. These stats do not bode well for them. Their pass defense allowed 28 touchdowns. That's 21st, ranked 21st this year. Sirianni's hopeful that Miles Sanders, who's been dealing with a hand injury, will be available. Offensive tackle Brett Toth and tight end Tyree Jackson were placed on IR Monday. Buccaneers coming off their third straight win, 41-17 at home over the Panthers. They've won 7 of 8. Broke the club record for victories in the regular season, set in 2002. Brady 29-37, the first year they went to the Super Bowl. Brady was 29-37 for 326 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Top 5,000 yards passing for the second time in his career. Drew Brees is the only other quarterback to have multiple 5,000-yard seasons. Finished with a career best 5,316, and he has the Bucs single season touchdown passing record at 43 TD passes. He'll be without 2 of his main weapons: Chris Godwin, MCL, ACL, and Antonio Brown. I don't want to say anything negative about him. I mean, there's mental health issues probably going on, head injuries maybe going on, and but he will not be available. Gronkowski, 7 catches for 137 yards. It was impressive. Mike Evans caught 6 passes for 89 yards and 2 touchdowns. The last one was his franchise record 14th touchdown of the year. First player in NFL history to begin a career with 8 consecutive seasons of at least 1,000 yards receiving. They continue to struggle with running the ball without Fournette. Keyshawn Vaughn ran 10 times for 29 yards and a touchdown. A couple plays by Scotty Miller made their stats look okay, but those were not traditional running plays. Their defense had 2 sacks, 6 quarterback hits. Andrew Adams had an interception. Ronald Jones' ankle outside linebacker JPP and cornerback Richard Sherman Achilles were all inactive. They were without Shaquille Barrett, Levante David, and Fournette. And they are expected, all 3 of those guys, to come back at some point during the playoffs. Wide receiver Cyril Grayson left with a hamstring injury in the first half, did not return. They're 22-0 when leading or tied at halftime since 2020. They're the only team in the NFL over that period with 0 losses in that situation. Buccaneers beat the Eagles 28-22 at Philadelphia in Week 6, but that score flattered the Eagles. How do you get your card started here? Clint, my man, take it away. Eagles, Buccaneers.
How else, Jimmy? I'm taking the dog. You got to know that the first week of playoffs is always one where the dogs are live and they've got a shot. Dogs that don't belong, dogs that think that they are alive, dogs that are shooting for that Super Bowl trophy at the end of the thing. They've still got hope, Jimmy. We've got a young team here in the Eagles. We've got a team that believes, and we're going up against an old veteran squad that is beat up and falling apart. Jalen Hurts took the day off. They took that beating from the Cowboys. It meant absolutely nothing to them. They had their eyes firmly set on a higher prize. And the Buccaneers went ahead and they played all their starters. And yeah, they looked pretty good against Carolina, but they gave up some plays against Carolina too. What we saw in previous seasons from the Bucs and from Tom Brady, Jimmy, is they kind of got off to a bit of a rough start. And then they found their groove. They started to put it together towards the end of the season. I'm seeing the opposite this season, Jimmy. I'm seeing a Tom Brady who's starting to throw a few more ducks, a few more interceptions. I'm seeing a Tom Brady who's losing his weapons, who's got less people to throw the ball to, which means it's easier to scheme defensively against a team like this. And that number 3 vaunted rushing defense has looked vulnerable and fragile the last couple of weeks. I do think the Eagles are going to be able to run on these Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Jimmy. I do think these Eagles believe that they can pull off the outright upset. They believe they're going places. They're headed the right direction. They're young. They're rested. They're hungry. If nothing else, Jimmy, I think they keep this close. I want that plus 8.5. They only lost by 6 last time. They can keep it close and tight again. And hell, Jimmy, this is a betting contest. I don't want to dwell too much on the past, but as you mentioned, I'm a little frustrated that I'm negative right now. I have been this close multiple times to cashing several big tickets that would have had me in the thick of it or even on top of this contest right now. In fact, the Saints defense touchdown that I called a week or so ago, I got the pick. There just was no 6 return at the very end of the game to give me that touchdown score. So I can taste it, Jimmy, and I've got to take some risks if I want to win the Pub Hub. Give me the Eagles. Give me the money line.
Oh, it's a fun way to get your card started. Eagles plus 8.5. Eagles money line at plus 325. And you have a player prop here. Clint has tweeted out all his actions, so his lines are locked in. Tell us about your player prop for more plus money glory.
One of the biggest holes in the Tampa Bay defense, Jimmy, is to the tight end position. They've given up, I believe, 6 touchdowns over the course of the season to the tight end position. And especially when you get this Eagles team in the red zone, when you get them close to that goal line, what are they going to do? They're going to run that ball with Jalen Hurts. They know that. I know that. The Buccaneers know that. So what do? You dump it off, baby. They're going to get real close in tight. They've got old sturdy hands, Dallas Goedert. He's going to catch one of those balls. He's going to get us on the board. Plus 225 for that tight end to get in the end zone against the defense who has been weak to the tight end position. Give it to me.
There we go. Goddard anytime touchdown at plus 225. We go back to Tampa. Philadelphia Eagles at Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We've already seen Clint pull out that enormous nutsack and bet the Eagles money line, the Eagles plus the points, and the Ertz prop. Was Ertz prop, right? Let me just
he said plus 225, I think, Jimmy, is what he was.
For the sorry, I just
Goddard.
Thank you. Ertz is over on the Cardinals. Thank you. Okay, let's keep rolling here. I can't wait to hear your breakdown. And then after this game, we get our first breakdown of the Niners Cowboys, which I can't wait to talk about. So take it away here, Zoe. Eagles Bucks.
This is I really like these spots, Jimmy. The Eagles didn't care about last week. They get blown out by the Cowboys. Everybody looks at Tampa and says, well, if they get blown out by the Cowboys, they're going to get curb stomped by Tom Brady. And I like the Eagles here plus 8.5. I saw so many people on the chat loving Tampa in this game. I would tell them, be careful because that Eagles team can run the ball. I watch a ton of football. The Bucs are allowing the outside run. You have to get away from Vita Vea inside. You have to get outside the tackles. And with this Eagles run game, And with Brady not having all the weapons he had last year, I like the Eagles here to cover the 8.5. Now, I think this line, Vegas feels very comfortable all the way to like 9.5, and they won't give you a 10. But man, they want all this Bucks money coming in. If they would have gave it a 10.5, I would have sat there and scratched my head. But at 8.5, I love the Eagles here. I think they keep it within a touchdown. And I think the Eagles, with their run game, will be able to keep Brady off the field somewhat. And their defense obviously isn't as bad as the 51 points they allowed to the Cowboys. It's just one of those areas where a lot of fans just look at last week and say, how can you back the Eagles? Well, I'm backing the Eagles that cared about a game, who were already in the playoffs and just took that game off. So I like the Eagles here plus 8.5.
Well, you have some options here at Pinnacle. The 8.5 is at minus 110. The 9 is at minus 114. The 9.5 is at minus 118. The 10's at minus 128. But what would you prefer?
The other thing Untouchable Jay just brought up, it is supposed to be 22 mile an hour winds in Tampa in that game. And that's going to favor a running team. And everybody's leaning on Fournette, who hasn't been playing as he's missed the last couple of games. I think he's supposed to be back. But if you want to go running game versus running game, I'll take the Eagles running the ball over taking the Bucks running the ball, even though they got Fournette.
I get it. I find it a very, very interesting spot. Which one did you want of the spreads that I offered you? 8.5 at minus 110, 9 at minus 114, 9.5
I'll take
minus
8.5, Jimmy, as long as it's over 8. I like the 8.5 at minus 110.
Okay, 8.5 minus 110. I wonder if wow, because Circa's down to 7.5. Wow.
Yeah, I think the line will move down. I want to say one thing too, and I forgot to say it at the beginning, Jimmy. With this Omicron COVID, I'd be very careful betting games on a Wednesday. I could see coming up to Friday that some big player or something could get test positive. I'd wait at least till Friday to put my bets in. That's what I'm doing. I'm a little afraid of. There's just too many people sitting out of too many sporting games right now, Jimmy, to feel comfortable putting in a bet on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday.
I hear that. One of the things we have going for us is a lot of these guys have had COVID now.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the one thing that a lot of us who are, and I've not made a bet yet, but we're all banking on is that they've had COVID. A big shout out to Nuke Worker. Thank you so much for that $20 dono, my man. Says just 21 more work days until February 11th. Then I'll be the retired Nuke Worker. Man, you're so close, and you've earned all this, and we love capping with you, Nuke, my guy. Thank you so much for the dono. Means a ton. And Prince of the City on the alternate line, Bucks minus 17. Bucks minus 17. Okay, Eagles plus 8.5 and minus 110. So Eagles, Buccaneers. Let's head over to Eagles, Buccaneers. We've heard two cappers on the Eagles plus the points, and we've had one prop, and that was Dallas Goedert TD at plus 225. You are not focusing on the Eagles in your prop market. Take it away. How are you handling this?
If I was to focus on an Eagle, it's Jalen Hurts' rush yards, guys, and I'm pretty sure all you guys are throwing that in the chat right now. That guy runs the ball. He runs the ball second best in the NFL in his first year in the NFL, only behind Lamar Jackson. So if I was on an Eagle, that'd be that. But I'm not, guys. I'm on Gronkowski, just like the Allen prop. If you've been following me and on Billy on our fantasy shows, we attack the Philadelphia Eagles with the tight end position. They run an old school cover 2, Tampa 2 shell, guys. That means they're good versus the deep ball. They allow everything underneath, guys. And Gronkowski's got 10 plus targets in 3 of his last 4 games. And his yards are at 56.5 minus 115 on Caesars. Are you fucking kidding me? I had this shit lined at like 72 to 75. Like, I expected a number in the 70s, and you gave me this crap in the 56.5. That's a joke. He's hit like this to me is money. It's the easiest bet. It's so hard. I get stuck up talking about it. They just suck versus the freaking tight end, and Tom Brady loves throwing to his tight end. It's just like, it's perfect.
Gronkowski, I absolutely get it. He's just been a monster of late. And now he's Brady's running out of weapons. He's running out of weapons. So I can see exactly what you're doing here. Are you only focusing on the receiving yards?
Yes, because at the time when I put both, they weren't out yet. So I didn't know. I had projections written down that I wanted. And when I seen a 20-yard difference when I projected where his line should have been at, it was the yards. It was the automatic yards.
Gronkowski, was it 56.5?
Yeah, minus 115.
Minus 115. Gronkowski over 56.5 at minus 115. So next we move over to the Eagles at Buccaneers. We've only heard Eagles action at this point, and something tells me the Buccaneers fans are going to like what they're about to hear. So take it away, Big Ragu. Eagles, Buccaneers.
Interesting spot here with the number, obviously, right? We're looking at what, 8.5? What's the official number on the show right now?
Well, it's moving all over the place right now because there is a 7.5 right now at Circa, which shocked me.
Wow. So some sharp money's coming in, obviously, on the Philly, which is, it's understandable. It really is. But, I remember a few weeks back they were talking about Philadelphia had the NFC East all wrapped up. And, they had an easy schedule going down. And they are a good football team, don't get me wrong. And Anthony will probably tell you something different. But, you got a rookie coach coming in. You got a second-year quarterback, which is tearing up the league with his legs. But, what does Tampa do? They shut it down. They shut the run down. Yeah, they're nicked up. Yeah, they have some guys that are, not at 100%. But a big piece coming back was Vay last week. And this team, when Tampa plays at home, I'm telling you, that's a different team altogether. You know what I mean? They got like a 16-point differential when they're playing at home. On the road is like 6 points, but I know, and the number's set. I think the number's pretty close to where it is. But if it dipped below 8, I mean that's a bargain to me. In actuality, I think what they're doing. Tampa does start out slow. Like when I was on the show Sunday with Ian, I told him I wanted Tampa under the first half, and I don't think I got the W with them on the outright cover, but I did hit the first half under. I'm not going to try to go both ways in this spot here. I know basically it's going to boil down to this. Like with the cover 2 off defenses, I think both tight ends are going to do very well here. Goddard's going to have probably some success against them. I think the key matchup in this game is going to be Slay versus Evans. That's going to give Gronk some opportunities. I'm not playing a prop in this game, but I think we'll see some, good midfield action, plays on, like I said, in front of the secondaries and stuff like that. And, Brady's lived in that zone for his whole life. Basically, that's where he's, made his career. So I think, even though there might be some conditions, with the rain and whatnot, I just think the way the game sets up, it's set up for Tampa Bay to kind of move the ball. And I think that Philly's going to have to throw the ball on Tampa, which they might be able to. But they're going to have to run first because that's where they live. So you're going to have to show me 2 things. You got to show me that you can run the ball first, and then if you abort the run, then naturally they're going to make the adjustments for the pass. So I just think Tampa's going to have too much offense to overcome for Philadelphia. And if I get below 8, you can sign me up for that all day long.
Buccaneers minus 7.5 and minus 110. That's available right now at Circa Sports. Right now it's Circa Sports. Gerald Jones says both teams' slow starters may go under first quarter. That was a great call on the first half under. I do all the record keeping for the show, and it was a very, very, very easy casher for you. Eagles, Bucks.
That puts me on my next play if it's available for this game. Okay, so being that I think it's going to be a slow starting game. If you can bet like a half, like a higher scoring half, usually you can bet the first half or the second half. I was curious if they had a play on the second half as a highest scoring half as a prop.
Probably. Let me start looking around here. I know I've seen it. Yes, highest scoring half. Wow. At Bet3, this is very, very interesting. Oh shit, that's the wrong game. That's why. Okay, sorry. Let me move over here. Eagles, Buccaneers, main props. So I'm gonna line shop at a couple different books for you. But wow, this is even a bigger plus line. Highest scoring half, second half at Bet365 right now is plus 105.
Sign me up for that.
Wow, what a really interesting look. Okay, I would like to see if I can get you better than that, But for now, this is available as we speak at Bet365. So highest scoring half. If anybody out there, actually, because we're going to be moving pretty quickly here, we got Babano coming up next as our last guest. If anyone else can find it at a better line, that would be so great if you could let me know. But right now, highest scoring half, second half is plus 105 at Bet365. I get it. Do you want to add to that at all, or do we move on to the next game?
No, we're good with that. We'll move on to the next game.
There you have it. So a double up spot again here for the Big Ragu. Bucks -7.5, -110. High scoring half, second half at plus 105. Okay, let's move on to, and by the way, Zoe laughing said it helps if you have the right game. It was plus 100 at the game I was looking at. That's Patriots Bills. And I was like, the capping makes so much sense there, how slow these guys start. I was like, I imagine it's going to be a worse line here, but it's not. It's even a better line, plus 105.
Yeah, I was
the
surprised.
final game.
Pleasantly surprised.
Beautiful. And Jacksonville Zoe liking it as well. Next stop for Babano, Philadelphia Eagles at Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we just had Ragu give us Bucks -7.5 in highest scoring half, second half. We had Sharpie give us Gronkowski over 56.5 receiving yards. We had Zoe give us the Eagles plus 8.5. And we had Clint give us Eagles plus 8.5, Eagles money line plus 325, and the Dallas Goedert TD at plus 225. So it was all Eagles until Ragu came on. Let's hear how Babano plans on getting paid. Philadelphia Eagles, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Take it away.
So this is the one I'm on the fence with, but I'm going to make Philadelphia an official play here regardless. I've actually not bet Philly yet. This is the one I'm on the fence with, but, I didn't want to, just wait to, till the last minute. I wanted to include every game that I was at least interested in, so I did that here. So I strong lean right now to Philly. You can make it an official play for the show at the current number. The one concern I have for Philly, first of all, before I give you the negatives, let me give you the pro Philly argument, because obviously I lean Eagles here in this game. Is their offensive line and defensive line play, I thought down the stretch was outstanding. I thought it was really, really good down the stretch. We saw what the Eagles' offensive line was like with a healthy Lane Johnson this year. It made a lot of difference. Jalen Hurts was solid. He's going to probably have to throw the ball a little bit more here. That's the one thing that does bother me, because we're talking about a upper echelon run defense, and Philly's probably more of a run-heavy team going into this game. And the Bucs seem to be getting some reinforcements, Jimmy, on defense. We know that's been a banged-up, injury-plagued defense down the stretch, but right now we're looking at a potential here going into this game that we're going to see a lot of these guys return to the football field here for the Buccaneers. Shaq Barrett, Jason Pierre-Paul, Levante David. These are all guys that have missed multiple games down the stretch, and we're seeing that they probably should all be back for this game. David's still a bit questionable, but Shaq Barrett's already been elevated to probable for this game. So look, there's going to be some onus now on Jalen Hurts to be able to throw the ball a little bit in this game. The good news is he's got Dallas Goedert playing at a high level at the tight end spot down the stretch. Devontae Smith out of Alabama has been good. I definitely, and for Tampa Bay, to me, going down the stretch, it's really, really difficult to have the utmost faith in them laying this number of points. Win the game, sure. But, you're talking 8.5 points here in this game. Defense, again, going to get some artillery back, but still could be missing some talent, and you're still missing some key cogs on the offensive side of the football. And don't sleep on the injury to Surreal Grayson either for the Bucs. This is a kid that stepped up lately with everything that's been going on with the injuries, Evans and Godwin, with the Brown situation, him obviously getting kicked off the team for his shenanigans. He really stepped up, and now his status is in doubt for Sunday. So where's those fill-in options now at wide receivers? You can't just throw to Gronk, all the time. And you're going to have to find some other guys to step up for Tom Brady offensively here. I think Tampa Bay could obviously win this game. It wouldn't shock me, but I just get that sense that right now, to me, Tampa Bay's having difficulty extending margins at the moment. Hell, the New York Jets nearly beat them just a couple of weeks ago. So I'm going to lean here to Philadelphia. I haven't locked this in yet, but for the purposes of the show, Jimmy, I'll make this official on Philadelphia. I'm sure I'll have a small bet on the Eagles before kickoff.
Well, as I said earlier, Circus moved this down to 7.5. Pinnacle has some nice options for you. 8.5 at -110, 9 at -114, 9.5 at -118. What interests you the most?
Let's do the 8.5. That's as long,
8.5.
it's above 8's a key number, so yeah, 8.5 is good.
Eagles plus 8.5 at minus 110.